Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Saturday the 22nd of February 2020 and we're publishing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 21st of February. Gold rose $60 last week from $1,583 to $1,643, having hit a high of $1,649 and a low of $1,578. In sterling terms, gold finished the week at £1,268. That's up £54. And in euros, it closed at €1,515. That's up €53. Silver rose 76 cents from $17.74 to $18.50. having hit a high of 1863 and a low of 1761. In sterling terms, it closed at £14.67. That's up 67 pence. And in euros, it closed at 17.05 euros. That's up 0.67 euros. The gold to silver ratio fell slightly from 89.2 to 1 to 88.8 to 1. The Dow Jones closed on Friday at 28,992, just breaking below that psychological 29,000 level, down some 227 points on the day and down 476 points on the week. The Nasdaq closed at 9,576, down 174 points on the day and down 155 points on the week. And the S&P 500 closed at 3,337, down 35 points on the day and down 43 points on the week. Despite these falls, the markets have still performed extremely well over the past couple of months. Brent crude closed at $58.50, up $1.18 on the week, and WTI crude closed at $53.38, that's up $1.33 on the week. Now the dollar index, and this is important, the dollar index stands at 99.26. That's up 0.14 for the week. Now, we concluded last week's update concerning gold with the following words, quote, "Most of the technicals point to a short-term positive momentum and consolidation, so we have no need to amend our $100 low high of between $15.50 and $16.50 over the next week or so." Unquote. Well, in fairness, gold has kept within that range, though admittedly towards the end of the week, nearer the top end, with the rise becoming very visible on Thursday and Friday, resulting in a price increase of some 3.77% on the week. The level of 1650 is extremely important, and if we see gold exceed this, then 1700 will shortly be reached. Now, this recent rise is almost entirely down to the coronavirus fears and spread. And we seriously ask you, when you finish this video, to go to our Richard and Greg channel, where today we've updated the latest figures and our views on this subject. We've placed a link in the description box below. It's actually quite uncanny at how almost exactly Greg's predictions have been, and it's well worth a listen. Now, from a technical point of view, there is support at the 1600 level for gold, higher than our previous 1550, which is where the 50-day EMA rests, as we're now entering an up channel, at least technically speaking, or even breaking through it. Gold hit its highest level for 7 years on Friday, and regular listeners to our channel will be aware that we have frequently stated that although gold is a few $100s off its all-time highs in US dollar terms, it has certainly surpassed them in many other currencies, including sterling, the euro, and the Australian dollar. Now, as already mentioned, technically the main trend is up. But should we see gold fall below 1639, it will head straight down for 1612, which is where the next form of support lies. That said, our inclination is a further rise, especially if one uses the recent breakout of the miners charts as well. Some analysts are quoting a gold price rise of up to $1,730 within the next 3 weeks. And this is indeed quite possible, though frankly we suspect it may then fall back for a few weeks after that, unless, of course, the coronavirus spreads further and faster. What provided gold with a further tailwind on Friday were the market manufacturing and services flash PMI figures for February. The first 1 point lower and the second 4 points lower than January's figures, suggesting a steeper slowdown in growth output than expected. We shall have to see if this downturn is further reflected in some of this week's figures, which we shall cover shortly. Silver this week has also recovered and performed well, actually slightly outperforming gold, and has risen some 4.26%. It has moved ever so slightly outside of our $1 spread, but closed within it. Phew. But started its rise earlier this past week than gold did, and gradually built on it. Now, whilst we can see silver going higher, we suspect that it will not outperform gold this week. If trade expectations are lower, then its industrial demand will be lower. But we admit that silver has a lot of catching up to do. It will find 1850 quite resistive, but if gold does hit 1700, then silver will hit $19. Though there has to be quite a bit of bad news this week for that to happen. We're also of the opinion that this coming week, silver will be supported at $18. And so we see this week's spread of $18 to $19. Now that said, we also have to bear in mind that the dollar index is currently high. And whilst it may very well rise further, and we suspect that it might, should it fall back, then of course both gold and silver will both rise in US dollar terms. And so this is another potential for the precious metals to benefit. Now, in today's video, which we released earlier on Richard and Greg made a very important point. So important it's actually worth mentioning again here. He says, if the number of infections in any one country and or deaths increases significantly, no matter how well its currency is doing up to that point, it will be very seriously affected to the downside once that information is revealed. It's a very valid point, so watch the US situation here quite closely, because although the US dollar is outperforming most of the other currencies, save perhaps the Swiss franc, nevertheless, depending what happens here in the United States, or should I say there, because I'm in the United Kingdom, that could be dented somewhat. Although, all things being equal, we actually see it strengthening. Now let's take a brief look at what economic data is being reported this coming week. On Monday, nothing of major consequence. There are a few minor reports, but in our view, not worthy of note at this stage, and certainly not market moving. Tuesday, consumer confidence index for February. Wednesday, new home sales for January. Thursday, quarter 4 GDP figures with a 2.15% expected. We also have the durable goods orders for January and the core capital goods orders for January. Friday, quite a bit. Advanced trading goods, personal income, consumer spending, core inflation all for January, and the consumer sentiment index for February. So obviously Friday is the big day today, but watch the consumer confidence index on Tuesday and the GDP figures on Thursday. Now, this past week has been an interesting one, in that we have seen the dollar index rise yet again and almost touch 100 earlier in the week. And again, each day we have produced videos highlighting how well or badly stocks and the dollar have performed. Now, we've seen gold and silver prices rise despite the strengthening of the dollar and the strengthening at some stage of equities, although they have resulted in lower figures by the end of the week. They have still, nevertheless, performed remarkably well over the past month or so. Now, the next few weeks are crucial. Should, for example, the coronavirus be contained, then we could easily see gold and silver prices fall back. But this is very unlikely, certainly for the next couple of weeks, as some experts are coming out talking about a pandemic. And of course, if the contagion worsens, then gold and silver prices will continue to rise. Those buying gold and silver in sterling or euros will, in our opinion, see further rises, as for now sterling is again weakening against the US dollar and so is the euro. Whilst President Trump is, on the surface at least, appearing to do all the right things in terms of trade deals and fewer threats, unfortunately, the China events are engulfing any good that he may be able to do. If the Fed gets rocked because the European Central Bank decides to lower rates in a couple of weeks' time, then we could see them having to follow suit, even though they may wish for that not to happen. We seriously suggest that you follow Richard and Greg, as we will provide updates every 2 or 3 days on this situation. But meanwhile, we trust that you have an enjoyable weekend and a most prosperous week ahead, watching out for the data and those telltale signs that we have alerted you to. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell sign so that you're notified of our videos as and when they are published. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.